Hello everyone, hope all is well. So, why do I call the charter excretion? Let me tell you why. People have already lost using the charter. Because of Section 1, reasonable limits. Here's your proof. CBC shows you right here. 7 Manitoba churches and 3 individuals invoked the charter. What happened? Here's the judgment. Judge Joyal found that the restrictions did infringe upon certain charter rights, but that the province was justified in doing so given the severity of the pandemic. As I mentioned, Section 1, we can limit your freedoms as long as we say it's justified. And there's the results. You lose. Done. Finish. There's your proof. So what should they have done? They should have taken the charter, put it in the toilet, and they should have flushed.
No, not the lever. Have mercy. No, I can't swim. Bon voyage, me old cream cracker. Hold your nose. You can't do this.
And that's what everyone should do. And I would suggest you flush at least 3 times just to make sure it's completely gone. Why? Trudeau wants you to invoke this so that he can slap you with Section 1. Guys, the charter is not your constitution. It is a piece of legislation that you have to invoke. So picture it like this. It's a grenade that Trudeau has given you. And then while it's in your hand, you pull the pin and it blows up right in your face. That's why Daddy Trudeau...
You see my dad?
And Peckford wrote it like this. It's really that simple. I don't care what Mr. Peckford says. If he continues to not admit that he wrote a piece of excretion when he wrote the very first clause in the charter allowing our government to put limits on our freedoms at their will, then he's either too prideful to admit that he's made a huge error, or, quite frankly, he's putting on theater and he's controlled opposition. Because he minces words. He's a lawyer. He knows the gaping loophole he created here. But here's the good news for you. You don't have to invoke it. There's a far superior document, and it's called the Canadian Bill of Rights, and it received royal ascension. It's far superior than the Charter, and it will protect your rights and your freedoms. This is what you need to cite. You don't have to invoke this. You can just cite it right on the spot. And there's no loopholes. There's no reasonable limits. None whatsoever. That's what the criminal code is for. So you don't need it in your rights document. You need your rights solidified. So you have your freedom of religion. Period. No reasonable limits. No justifiable reasons to take away your freedoms and your rights. That's why this is a far superior document. Read it. It says, it is hereby recognized and declared that in Canada there have existed, you already had these rights from before 1960, and they shall continue to exist without discrimination. Not with reasonable limits, no, without discrimination by reason of race, national origin, color, religion, gender, the following human rights and fundamental freedoms. See, you have them, period. No loopholes, no limitations. For all federal matters, which includes law enforcement. And any time you make a provincial law, guess what you need? You need law enforcement. Guess what law enforcement is? It's federal. Guess what this is? It's a federal statute. So you simply just cite it on the spot and they're finished. That's why my friend Dave Freedom, he won his case. What did he use? He used the Bill of Rights. Unlike these folks that lost and used the excretion document. See? Now, we also have case law. I'm not going to get too long-winded about this, but a lot of people, I don't think they understand what I mean by common law or case law. Essentially, it's laws that are in place based on previous decisions from court rulings. So for example, this was Alberta. They were creating regulations that were outside of their power. Kind of like right now, every province in Canada is doing that. And the Superior Court decided that the province was going outside of their scope of power and said that you're not allowed to do that. Bottom line is, it says we already had an implied Bill of Rights from like over a century ago. So they're not allowed to make provincial bylaws that go against our federal statutes because the federal laws have to be abided by when you make a provincial regulation. So that's a case law. Take a look at these codes, read through it, guys. It's very long and drawn out. I'm going to try to do a short video on this, but here's my point. This is why Mr. Diefenbaker made the Canadian Bill of Rights. So you have something very simple. It doesn't have to be too long. See, this is much shorter, but it's perfect. It's not convoluted, and it's what you need, and you can cite it on the spot. It's far superior, and it will protect your rights and freedoms. So I'm going to repeat this one more time. It is clear that the Charter should be flushed down the toilet. Don't invoke this. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. Don't give them that section 1 because that's what they want you to do. And anybody still promoting this is harming you. I don't have to be a lawyer to know that people are losing with it. It's that simple. And I don't have to be a lawyer to know when I read this, there's no loopholes. I just simply have my freedom of religion. I simply have my freedom to life, liberty, security of person. You can't jab me without my permission. It's that simple. And you can't coerce me and you can't threaten me. Period. It's really that simple. This is what we should be using. God blessed this country. It's a common law country. We have a history. It's the House of Commons, common law, case law, and yes, indeed, the Canadian Bill of Rights. Hope this helps, guys. Thank you for listening. Grace and peace.